This is Jan Revell with Launch Your Divine Biz giveaway. And look at that. I can't see without them, so never mind. Um,
Me
and right
too.
now, I'm interviewing Sherry Bowers, who is my favorite tech person in the whole world. So, yeah. So, Sherry, you're going to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became this tech guru, and how long you've been doing it, how you ended up doing it, and all that other good stuff. So, go for it.
All righty then. And as for the glasses, I get that. I get that. Um, oh heavens. So basically what I do now is support solopreneurs, smaller entrepreneurs in have spiritual businesses, self-improvement type businesses, coaching businesses, make the world a better place businesses, and help them with the tech that lots of times gets in the way and slows everybody down. I've been doing this stuff since the late 90s, 1998. I don't know. I was doing it before websites, like, really. I've always been a little bit of a geek girl. So there we have it. And it wasn't until 2010 is kind of when I got more serious about turning kind of the side hustle that I was doing into more of trying to get it full time. 2015, I did that and made the leap. And that's when I kind of combined my love for spirituality and my love for tech and kind of melded those together as connectedspirit.com. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. My focus right now is, I'm seeing a real need for people to be able to create side hustles or just an online business that gives them the mobility to work where they want to work, live where they want to live, and be mobile. Because I'm seeing a lot of need for that these days. So that's me.
I see that happening a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So were you, from childhood on, have you always been a
A nerd?
woo-woo, well, a nerd, yeah,
Oh,
but a woo-woo type person? So
ah,
both, go for both, go for
probably.
nerd and
Yeah,
woo-woo.
yeah. So woo woo, on the woo woo side. Um, what really sent me actively seeking, I think I always had, like, I mean, we're all spiritual, so I was probably a little more, I don't know, there was always an awareness to me that life was important no matter what it is, a bug, a worm. My mom tells a story of me coming in as, like, probably a 4-year-old or something with a jar, and I would collect bugs in a jar, and came in sobbing. And when she asked me what was wrong, as only a kid can do, I said, I scraped its head off with the lid of the jar and killed this ladybug. So it was a big trauma. But what set me on my journey was in high school, and I had a couple of premonition type dreams that were related to fires. And I had a horse this horse was much more than a horse, and one of the dreams was that our property butted up against an old abandoned racetrack for cars, and kids used to play down there and ride dirt bikes and whatever. In my dream, there had been kids that set the place on fire, and I had to get the horse out and blah blah blah. But it was probably a month or two later, and we were outside. It was summertime, and my mom said, I smell smoke. And my brother and I went to, like, through the woods to where this racetrack was. There was kids had been playing with matches, and they set this tree on fire. So anyway, that kind of got me then paying more attention to the ahas that we get, that we get them all the time. We just, whether we pay attention or not, that's the key, I think, to it.
True.
So then it was just, every book I could get my hand on about anything spiritual, down the rabbit hole I went, and I've just kind of stayed down that rabbit hole. So It's a fun rabbit hole to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as far as the nerd end of it, um, I'm not sure what really got me started with computers. I think it was just the creative piece.
Mm.
So my first computer was one of the old Commodores that you could buy at like the department store for $200 way back when, before Windows. and and I was always trying to come up with ways to become an entrepreneur with technology, even from, early 20s. So that's kind of how it started. And then once websites became a thing, this was like, I'm giving away my age, but CompuServe, the
Yeah.
old CompuServe days and the old AOL days and the dial-up modems and all of that. And I remember the first time I figured out how to put together a web page or something, and I remember like, just, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and oh my gosh, and I was just yakking to everybody about it and how cool this was, and oh, this is going to be the thing, and everybody was looking at me like, what are you taking? What is wrong with you? What are you talking about? Because nobody got it, and I did, but anyway, so I've always been a nerd.
Well, okay. And that explains a
A
little bit.
lot, doesn't it?
Well, I was going to say it explains a little bit about the gift that you're offering in this giveaway. So talk about that for a minute, because it's kind of a nerdy gift,
It is. It is, yes. And now you've caught me like,
the tracker.
which one?
Oh, let me look here. It is the,
So for everybody watching this, it's been quite the week this week for me, and my little brain has been on meltdown yesterday. And I've got multiple trackers that I offer. So I think it was either the time-based
time budget. Yeah.
tracker.
Yeah.
Okay. So that one was interesting because the backstory to that is another one of my little humorous, like, for most people, I think you'd be like, well, duh. But there was a time in my life where I was, trying to multitask way too much. And again, burst into tears and caught myself saying, dag nabbit, other words, but
Yes.
gosh darn it, I can only do 5 things at once. And the minute it came out of my mouth, I realized how absolutely ridiculous that sounded. And then it, over the years, I kept butting up into the fact of, like, what my brain wants to do is like this much, and what I actually end up doing is only this much. And so why do I have this disconnect, this big gap? And I had stumbled upon one of the articles, I think, that I also linked to as part of the instructions for this, that made me kind of just a different way of looking at things. And it was like, well, shoot, yeah, there are only 24 hours in a day. So why don't you see how you're using them and see where there are gaps that you can replace with what you want to replace with, or just so that you can gauge how much time do you really have that's available. Because I was always like over committing. That was kind of and I still struggle with that, but this was back when the kids were little and thought I was superwoman and could do, still do 8 hours of stuff. Not happening. So it's not something you generally would have to do unless you're really as more of a nerd than I am, maybe. But it's probably something that you'd want to do periodically, once a year, every 6 months, just to kind of re-gauge where you're at with your time usage and the time that you think you have available. Because I think a lot of us tend to think we can do more than we can, and especially when it comes to tech, because tech's always going to take longer than you think. Doesn't matter what it is.
Gosh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's a way to kind of really break down your day into, you run it for a week to kind of gauge where you're spending your time. But then you can really figure out, okay, out of 24 hours, maybe in actuality, work time, I really only have 4 hours available, or 6 hours. I don't have 8 hours. So quit booking yourself for 8 hours. And once I did that and got that aha and sort of made that more of a conscious thing, really took a lot of pressure and anxiety and stress off. So
Right.
that's how
Right.
that started.
I've discovered in my old age here that my energy level determines a lot more than the hours in the course of a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have to take that into consideration
Mm-hmm.
every day, no matter what day
Mm-hmm.
it is, every day. So this is definitely something that is helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, now let's get back to creative and talk about this little fun little raffle prize that you are going
Oh,
to
this
give
one.
us.
Yes. So I don't know about you, but I just like things that are just plain fun.
Yeah,
I think we need more fun. And so what it is it's a little sort of like an app, but it's a little program, and you can customize it with your colors, and you can decide how you want it to display, and then you can put it on pretty much any page of any site that you're using. It can be a Wix site, it can be WordPress, it can be, pretty much any platform out there, because you're just going to add that little bit of code where you want on the page you want this to happen. And what it does is it's kind of, if you've ever gone to a web page and you see confetti raining down, or something like popping little
yeah,
confetti out, it lets you add that to your pages.
that is
And
cool.
it's cute, it's cute, it's
Mhm.
fun. It's probably not something you want to overdo and have it on every page, but it's great for like
Oh, darn.
yeah, I know. You could for a little while anyway. But it's great for pages if, like, say somebody's just signed up for a membership program. You could have it on that thanks, you're in,
Mhm.
any page where you're going to be congratulating somebody for doing something that you appreciate. It's a perfect place to put that. And like I said, when you it's just a matter if you kind of go in, you say, okay, this is the website I want to put it on. You can pick your colors. You can decide, do I want it to just rain down? Do I want it to like pop over here and then pop over here and then pop over here? It's, you can kind of make it your own little thing, and you can make big confetti or little confetti. You can completely geek out on the confetti, but it's a fun little extra to make your website stand out a little bit more.
Full disclosure is once
Yep.
you send me that link, I will probably be putting it on the gift page
Yes, you should. Yes. Mhm.
so that everybody who comes here is going to get an explosion of confetti.
Yep. And anybody who downloads, who gets this, right? Who gets the raffle, or, ends up with this. If you have trouble installing it, reach out. I'll help you get it put on, because it's just, the world needs more confetti.
Yes. 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 Oh, thank you, Sherry.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And just so everybody knows, Sherry did a lot of the work on this whole giveaway as far as the tech part's concerned. And there's going to be an upcoming giveaway coming in March, and she's going to end up, I told her she's going to be on the hook for that one too. So, okay, Sherry,
Sounds
thank you
good.
very much.
Thank you, and thank you.
Yeah. Now, how do I stop this? Here we go.